Part 1. A rival's shocking act of kindness changed my life forever. From infertility struggles to miracle motherhood, hear my unbelievable true story of hope and human connection. In the charming town of Maplewood, where rival family-owned restaurants thrived side by side, our long-standing animosity had become a staple of local legend. My family had owned Andy's Bistro for generations, a cherished mainstay known for its warm ambience and hearty meals. Directly across the street was Jones's Table, renowned for its exquisite gourmet dining. Our families had spent decades embroiled in rivalry, trading barbs and competing for patrons, and the tension was palpable with each meal served. Throughout this time I had carried a longing in my heart, a deep, aching desire for children that had blossomed into a desperate hope. My husband and I had grappled with infertility for what felt like an eternity, each attempt leaving us more emotionally fractured than the last. Despite our efforts, the universe seemed unwilling to grant our wish for a family. One crisp autumn afternoon, as the leaves danced down Maplewood streets, I had an unexpected encounter that would change the course of my life. While I was running an errand, I bumped into Trisha outside her restaurant. She was laughing and playing with her daughter Penny, whose giggles filled the air with an innocent joy. As I approached, Penny, with her wide, curious eyes, suddenly piped up, "Do you have kids, Miss Rene?" The question struck me like a lightning bolt. I felt the warmth of shame creeping up my neck as I shook my head, swallowing down the lump in my throat. Before I could mask my feelings, Penny turned to her mother, tugged at Trisha's arm and exclaimed, "Mom, maybe you can help her like you helped that other couple. You should be her surrogate." I froze, the suggestion hanging in the air between us like a spark of hope I never expected to witness. I had always viewed Trisha as a competitor, a formidable opponent in the kitchen, but hearing Penny's innocent proposal lit a flicker of curiosity within me. I glanced at Trisha, who appeared momentarily taken aback by her daughter's enthusiasm. "I am so sorry, Rene. Penny is always running her little mouth." Trisha apologized, her voice measured yet curious. "No, you don't need to apologize," I stuttered, still grappling with the surreal possibility that was now blooming before me. "But I didn't think you were the type to do something like that." Trisha smiled gently, her hazel eyes glimmering with something more than just friendship. "It's all about giving back, and I wouldn't do it if my husband didn't agree. He's very supportive of this." Her words stirred something deep within me, but I remained tethered by the weight of our family's enmity, feelings of betrayal swimming through my mind. "You really wouldn't? I mean, after everything," I whispered, unsure of how far this conversation could go. But I didn't dare to suggest it, content to let the moment dissipate. The next day, as I was half-heartedly attempting to work at the bistro while managing the tumultuous whirlpool of my emotions, I received an unexpected invitation. Trisha and her husband, in a surprising gesture, invited my husband and me over for tea. I felt a little seed of hope germinate, but my stomach sank with worry when I considered the implications of our family's rivalry. That evening, we arrived at Trisha's home, nerves crackling like static in the air. As we settled in, sipping tea and engaging in small talk, I could sense the weight of the conversation building between us. Finally, Trisha's husband cleared his throat. "Rene, we wanted to discuss something important," he said, looking both serious and warm. "Trisha has mentioned your struggles, and we believe we can help." My heart raced as Trisha leaned forward, her expression earnest. "I'd like to offer you my help. I want to be your surrogate." The words landed heavily on my shoulders, and I was momentarily consumed by shock. I could hardly fathom the enormity of such a selfless gift from a woman I had once deemed my rival. "Are you serious?" I finally managed to ask, my voice barely above a whisper. "You would do that? For me?" Her nod was firm, unwavering. My mind was a storm of conflicting thoughts, apprehensions swirling with the glimmer of hope. The gravity of our family's feud weighed heavily, but the sincerity in her eyes made me yearn to accept. I looked at my husband, who had been silent until now. He had tears in his eyes. He nodded and I broke down in sobs. The pent-up frustration of all the years of trying and failing washed over me. Trisha assured me everything would be all right. It was amazing that Trisha was willing to do this without expecting any payment. Continued in part 2.